Hello and welcome to Oz Scalemodeling, and welcome to the Eduard 148 scale Spitfire Mark 1 build. And this is part 4 of the build, and as you can see here, I've made quite a bit of progress, although I forgot to do something, so I've got to take all this apart again. Nothing's glued yet, okay? So, but we'll have a look. So what I've got is, fortunately I found these rubber bands, which are great. So they're going to hold this while I run this across it and glue these two halves of the fuselage together. And it's all fitting in well. In the last video, you would have seen how I had to sand away at the instrument panel and get it to fit properly and do a bit of work there. And I've got it done. And as you can see, there's very, very slight gap, but when you press down on there, it's actually completely gone. So we're really good. But what I have forgot to do was put this in. This goes in behind the pilot's seat in the back there. Okay, that's got to go in before I put these two halves together. So I'll be taking this apart again. But anyway, at least I know that that's going to go like that, and there's no gaps all the way around. It's looking really nice tight fit. All right, so I won't bore you with me pulling it apart again. I just wanted you to see how I was going to have it hold together while it's gluing and drying, and how I'm going to get a nice even pressure around there to hold everything in place. Okay, so yeah, I'll pull these back off again, and I'm going to glue that in, and then we'll be fine, because as you can see with the instructions here, I'll show you quickly. There's the piece there, and there it is sitting in there. Okay, and it's going to sit in here. So yeah, I've just got to attach it on the inside of those two walls on the cockpit. Not a problem. It'll only take a second. And of course, that seatbelt extension runs through that as well. So I'll be doing that as well, because it's going to be a hell of a lot easier to do it without the chance of me probably dropping it in there. So I'll do that as well. And I've got that seatbelt piece sitting over in here to go. That other green piece there is also a support that goes across between the two, but I'll put that in afterwards, because I could easily just attach that now while it's in there, rather than take a chance of bumping it while I'm trying to secure this fuselage again. All right, I'll shut up. I'll be back again in a second. Okay, just before I glue it, there you go. We've got that piece in the back now. We've also got the belt going across. So we're good to go. Now, there is going to be a little gap along here I'm going to have to fill. I can't avoid that. Even getting as small as I can, pressing it in, there's going to be a tiny little gap along there. But that's no problem. Everything else is fine, so I'm pretty happy with that. So, okay, I'm going to go ahead and glue this all together, and I'm going to leave it for quite a long time before I take all these bands off. And but you won't have to wait that long, and I'll do this. I'll be back in a short second to you guys. All right, so everything secured back again. I've just put in that top bracket that goes from the back seat to that support at the back. This is glued on now. I've put the glue through everywhere, and yeah, I'm just going to leave that and let that dry and start on the next part. I've still left this off. This is the support and the compass, or not the support, the eyesight for the firing the gun, which is going to sit up on the top there. I'm going to leave that off for the moment, because I may need to fill. There's a little gap in there. You can just see that, yeah, I couldn't do anything about that. So I may have to just do a bit of filler on that. Otherwise, it's really good. So I'm going to leave that aside now, and what we're going to do is have a look at the instructions, because this is all done now. All this on page 7 is finished. Including that? Yes, including that. So we're going to move down here to the wing, which you can't see. Now you can. All right, so now we need to take this off the sprue, and this part here Looks like we've got some holes to drill, I'd say. It looks like a hole to drill. Oh, but only for C and J only. C and J. We're not building that aircraft, so we won't have to drill holes. Good. That'll save some work. So I'll get this off the sprue, which, hang on a second. Let's just do that and have a look at it. There we go. There's our beautiful detailed wings. And I guess we need this part to start with. So I'll go snip this off now and clean up the little connection points, and then we'll see what we're going to do next. We'll be back shortly. All right, so there's our lower part of the wing done, and that bracket that went on here, that'll be on the inside. You won't see that, but it'll it's obviously just to set the angle correct, to make sure everything's right. So I've glued that down and it's looking good. That completes everything on page 7. On page 7 now. So what I can do now is cross all that off and turn the page over. That's it. So let's have a look over at the next page. Page 8. Alrighty-o. So as you can see here, we've got some more brackets to go inside, on the inside here. There is a part there that needs to be painted aluminium colour, so I guess that can be seen. I'm just wondering what else needs to be painted there that can be seen. We've got our two, what are they? The top side of the wings that are going to go on top of here. So that'll be in the next step after this, when that all goes down, and then we've got these parts going in there as well. I need to have a look at the plane. It gets a little bit more confusing when I look at down here. Fortunately for me, I'm doing the E markings, which is neither of these. But if you're not, this is for A and C, this is for D and J. So there's quite a few little bits and pieces there. In fact, they look like the guns on the inside of the wings, where they sort of stick out, I guess, at the front there. I'm not too sure. But I need to do this. This is the standard. So this has got them there, as you can see. Sorry about the glare. Okay, we've got them all going on here, but I guess there's some of them here just a little bit different depending on the aircraft you're doing. Yeah, and look at the colour of that too. Just trying to see what colour they are. Iron coloured. So they are the guns. Yeah, they are the guns on the wings. They're done in iron colour. So they'll have to be painted when they're put in there. You're only really, it's only that right at the tip that's going to protrude from the wing that you're going to see. But hey, it's got to be painted different, so we'll do that. Gosh, I'm going to have to mask all those up, am I? I'm not sure. When do you paint it? That's what I'm trying to see at the moment, because when I look back on the previous page here, they said 1 equals, and we've got starboard side as silver, or the port side is silver, and starboard side is flat white. Is that right? I'm going to have to read up on this. All right, I'll come back and I don't want to make any mistakes. I'll be back in a sec. What I'm trying to figure out is this piece along here, which has got number 1 against it on the instructions, which means it's got to be coloured white or black, port or starboard. So depending which side of the underside is going to be the white part of the aircraft or the black, half of this has to be painted to match. Because what I've done is I've cut off these as well off the sprue, and I'm just putting that like that, or one side anyway, just so I can look over and just see through the wheel well in there how much can actually be seen. And there's a little bit just in there that you could see, but you know, it's hardly going to be noticeable. If this side's white and this side's black, then if I did that black, that's going to show. So I could do it half black, half white. I'm just going to decide on that. I'm just going to look ahead through the instructions and see what else we got to do, because there are a few bits that need to be done aluminium in there as well. And of course, I've already glued this in place, so I should have sprayed it before I glued it on. I didn't. Yeah, I didn't realize. I didn't see the little reference there for it. But that's not a problem. If this gets paint down in here, it's not going to matter because it's on the up. It's up under there, so you're not going to see it anyway. So it's not a problem. It's only this edge. There's a slight little bit in there and there that you will see. Okay, I think you understand what I mean. It's going to be white or black, depending on port or starboard. Pretty much. All right, I'll be back again with a bit more progress. I'm leaving this a bit longer. It's only been an hour since I pressed pause before, so we're going to leave that for a few hours before I take those rubber bands off. Okay, I'll be back in a sec. Okay, back again with the bands taken off, and that's come up really well. There will be a little bit of filler to go in there, although I think there's something that may cover part of that, so we might not have to fill the whole thing. I'll have to have a look ahead in the instructions. Other than that, everywhere else is spot on. There's no need for anything. There's no gaps, nothing, so that's really good. Here, as you can see there, I've finished that section there. I put those pieces in. Instructions are a little bit tricky to follow. There's some strange angles there, but I'm hoping that's right. I'm hoping it's right. I'm just going to do this side now, and then we'll go down further and we're putting in some more pieces around this area here. All right, so I'll continue on. Back in a sec. Okay, that took a lot longer than I expected. Just putting on this side. What I realized was that these two pieces were the wrong way around. So this part was meant to go over here and this piece was meant to go over there. The reason I know is because underneath this part, it's sort of raised up a little bit, and there's a bit underneath, which is this part here that sticks out, and then clears it, it goes over the top. But definitely the instructions are wrong. They actually ask you to put this piece on here and this piece on there, which is wrong. Now, because I put that piece on there first, I do remember seeing the gap underneath and wondering, oh, that's strange, there's a gap under there. Had I have done this side first, I would have realized that that's not fitting properly because it's flat. When I would have realized that's meant to go on the other side. The instructions actually have that around the wrong side. So R19, which they say goes there, actually goes there. And R18, they say goes there, actually goes there. Just remember that, all right? Because I had to take this back off after it was glued down. To do that, I managed to, I just put a bit more of the cement glue on there, and that loosened it up. And then I took it off and then cleaned up a little bit, and then swapped the pieces around. So we're all good, but it's very, very tricky in there. Even though that's correct now, there's still a bit of a gap from these parts here. There's a little bit of a gap there and there, which you can't avoid, but it just doesn't look right. But they are definitely incorrectly, not incorrectly in what I'm saying. But anyway, all right. So we're all good. That's all done. Now what I got to do is I'll just bring the instructions over and show where we're at. Okay, so now all that is completely done. We're moving down the page. There's no steps in here. It's just page by page to this section here now. So now we're along here. Now what we've got to do is we've got to do these parts here, which will go around those holes where the wheels come up into. So we'll put those on. And obviously they've got number 1 and number 1, which means these have to be painted, the white and the black, depending on what side of the wing. So again, we can put them on and then spray them while they're on there. Okay, so after these parts are all on, then I'm going to spray it. Okay, that's what I'll do when those 4 parts are on. Then we come back and we put in all of these, which are the guns that are mounted on the inside, and all the tips of those, as you'll see by this here, right, will tell you that that's going to be black on the tip there. So it's probably going to be best if maybe I just brush them with a brush and do them the grey. I think they're dark iron, they're guns, so they're dark iron. We'll see. I don't think there's any point painting them before I put them on there. That might work though. Just dip them in the paint. We'll see how it goes. We'll come back and I'll show you that. And then once those are all in place and this bit's been painted, I don't know what side's what, but one will be the white and the other one will be the black. The wings go down. The underside of the wings go on top. Or the upper side, really. This is the top of the wing and this is the bottom of the wing. Okay, I'm sure you know that. So then they'll go on top. But we got a bit before we get to that, and we'll see a bit more of this progress as I go. Okay, all right, back again in a sec. All right, back with another little update. So what I've done now is I've put the guns all on. I've done them accurate to the instructions. If you're doing the other versions of the Spitfire, then you need to follow all these instructions down here. So they're for the other types, but otherwise just follow it as it is up here. Now there's a difference, optional R10, R11. So one is with the gun showing out a little bit or the gun not showing. And what I've done is I've just gone with them all showing except for one on each side that has the gun inside a bit, if you know what I mean. So let me just show you. Okay, so you can see there we've got two guns on either side that are actually a bit more visible. They're sticking out. The other 2 guns are in. Now it's telling us to paint them dark iron, but there's no point painting them now because this is all going to get painted over. But right at the very end, I would be just touching those up dark iron as one of the last things. Okay. All good. All we got to do now is paint, which this one's going to be done black. So I don't think I'll bother masking anything. All this is going to be hidden. So I just need to get all this part black, mainly because when you look through here, you want to be able to see the black under there, like where those parts are. There is a piece down there, this bit mechanism here, which is going to be aluminium. So I'm going to hand brush that. Same with the other side, but this will be white. I'll do all the inside of that white. Now before these go on, of course, we're going to need to do in here as well, because that, if you can imagine, that's going to be on there like that. Okay, I'll just show you. And then if I turn it over, we can see in there. So that I'm thinking of doing aluminium color on both sides. Maybe. Or maybe I'll do it white and black, relevant to the wing color underneath. Not sure yet. Okay, all right, but we'll see. But for the moment, yeah, I need to get some paint on there. I'll be back when I'll show you that. Hey, welcome back. So, got some paint on there, as promised, with the white and the flat black. And basically, it's just covered on the inside areas of there, which when you're looking at the part you can see, all inside there will be the correct colors. Now, of course, this is going to be painted over here, so this will be done black and this will be white. So, you know, I won't bother masking or covering that hole. This one I will, because it's hard to, you know, you can see in there, but you can't, I wouldn't be able to redo that after I've put the primer coat on here and then done it white. That's why I've done it. If you understand what I mean, that's why I've painted it this way now first, because otherwise the white won't get in there to paint it. Same with the black on this side of the wing. All right, so there you go. Now, what I'm going to do now is just put a big thank you out to everybody who was on the live stream that I have every weekend that made a correction for me. And it was in reference to the guns on the wings here. I was looking at the instructions wrongly. I made a mistake. They do not protrude out on some of the other versions of the Spitfire like they do on those. They actually sit flush like these ones here are. So what I'll do is I'll take these ones off. It's easy to take them off. All I do is just give it a touch of the glue that I glued them on with, and that'll soften them up. Take them off, put the correct ones on there so they all sit flush with the wing. All right, so yeah, thanks for everybody who helped me out with correcting that issue. I'll show you on the instructions where the mistake was made so that anybody watching this won't make the mistake. Well, then again, you'd have to be as dumb as me to make the mistake. I don't think that's possible. Let me show you. So here, for example, so these instructions down here are showing you for the different versions of the aircraft. So you can do it this way, but here what I took it as, see, I'm doing build E is the one I'm doing, which refers back to, if we go back and look at the photograph, is, let me just move this out of the way because I've just painted that. Right. Is this one here, right? And as you'll see, if I'd bothered to look, I would see that there's no gun sticking out of there. All right. Now, what the problem was is that I was looking at this and taking it as A and C are the versions that you do this, and D and J were the versions you do this. The rest of them you do this. I was wrong. It's actually A to C, there's a little dash in there, and D to J, which means E is included, the one I'm doing. And it's this one where, as you'll see, they're all sitting in there flush. Okay, and that goes through the whole instructions. Ones I've already gone through, which fortunately I have not made a mistake, but especially around the cockpit. See, we got A, E, and J have these particular parts, all right? But it would also be A, B, C, D, E, all right? All those letters in between as well, and G. Okay, so it's A, B, C, D, E have these parts on them, and G as well. Okay, so F, the build version F, is the only one that would come down to here, and we'll see here we got F, and then we got H to J. So then it continues on after the G, H to J. So H, I, and J will have these markings. All right. That was obviously all too confusing for me, but don't you make the mistake I made. All right. So there you go. All right. Now, what I'm going to do now is we have now finished page 8. Okay. Steps, whatever. Steps don't exist in this model, in these instructions. So what I'll do now is I'm going to fix those guns on there, and then we can turn the page and start on page 9 at the top. And going by this, there's a little piece that goes on the top there, and it says A, not dash, just a comma there, right? A and B only. So I won't be adding that, even though there's a question mark there. But again, I will refer back to the photo of the picture of the aircraft and see if it's actually showing on the picture, just to confirm, which is this one here. And it does look like we don't put that on. But anyway, all right. So what I'll do is I'll get these parts off and get them. They're quite simple. Just glue them together and they get attached on the fuselage. This is going onto the fuselage. That is going to be scary because I'm curious to see how well that fit's going to be. And one thing we have not done yet is glued these two top halves of the wing onto that, which is what I will do as soon as I've changed those guns over. Okay, all right, back again very, very shortly. Okay, here we are back again, and I've got the wings on. I had to do them one at a time because I don't have many of these little pegs. I thought I had more, but guess not. I need to get some more. So I've done one wing at a time. No problems at all. That should be just about dry. And while that was drying, I took off these off the tail. They go on the back. These two parts for each side there, they're going to go like that, whilst this will go into the back of there, basically, all on the back of that. If I can bring that over, I'll show you. Okay, so that's going to go in there. I'll test fit it all first before I glue it on. But these pieces go in really well. And of course, then there's this part, which will go in somewhere like that. Yeah. And there's also a couple other little parts that go in there, P40 and 41, which I'm not too sure how they go. I think they may connect onto those. It's not really clear in the instructions for me there. Those two there. Yeah. Well, I haven't taken the pieces off the sprue yet. So once I get the pieces off the sprue, I'll get an idea what they look like and how that's going to go on. P1 is another little piece that sits in there, which is in that little indentation there. Okay. So, yeah, not much to page 9, fortunately. But there's quite a bit in the next page, but we'll get there. Okay, I'll be back in a sec. All right, yeah, back. So these are done. They're done, glued. This, I've put all these parts on, and I'll tell you, I'll give you a tip that worked out for me, is if you put those two bits that you glue together and slide them in, and then attach this one piece on the back like that, before you glue anything, and even attach that, everything's such a nice, tight, snug fit. You can put it all on without gluing it. And when you got it all lined up and all your seams exactly how you want, everything's nice and even, just run along with your glue, and you're done. And there we go. Perfect. There's these two little pieces that go in and they fill in that little gap there. You see that little mark in the corner there on each side? So they're going to slide in there and glue in place just to clean that up there. So I'll be putting those on, and that's it. So of course this needs to go on to the wings, which I have not even test fitted yet. So fingers crossed that's all going to go on nice and well, because that's the next step, is gluing it onto there. All right. Now we'll have a quick sneak look. Oh, I think we're good. I think we're good. But you're going to have to wait until the next video to see that. Of course, in the next video, not only will you see this going on there successfully, we've got these parts here to get put on. And that finishes the wings. And then on the next page, well, there's quite a bit to do. We've got a lot of areas underneath that look like some air vents and so forth that need to be all done on the underside of here. Okay, like I said, next video. So thanks for watching, everybody. Don't forget, join us on the live stream if you've subscribed and get notifications. Every weekend I do a live stream, and you're welcome to come in there and say hello and chat and meet all the regulars. We like having new people show up, and you can come and ask questions and talk about whatever we talk about. Sometimes, and mostly lately, it's been more model related, but who knows. And all good. Give us a thumbs up. If you've got any comments, let me know down below. Questions, tips, suggestions, I'm open. My first model plane build. Okay, all good. Well, I will see you all in the next video, which will be, part 5 of our Eduard Mark 1 Spitfire. 1/48 scale. Okay. Cheers all. Bye for now.